you. Your thoughts are not facts. Don't treat them like gospel. This one realization can completely change how you live, lead, and love. Most people walk through life assuming that whatever pops into their head must be true. You. The moment a negative thought arises, I'm not good enough, they don't like me, I'm going to fail, they grab onto it as if it were carved in stone. But here's the truth. Your brain isn't designed to always tell you the truth. It's designed to keep you alive, not necessarily to help you thrive. That means it's wired for fear, for survival, for spotting danger even when there isn't any. And if you don't learn to challenge what's going on up there, you'll spend your entire life grounded by lies. There's a difference between a signal and a sentence. Your thoughts are signals. They're flashes, data that your mind sends based on past experiences, memories, emotions, and biases. But when you treat a thought as a sentence, as a final judgment, you give it power it doesn't deserve. For example, just because you think you're going to embarrass yourself in a meeting doesn't mean you will. Just because you feel like someone is mad at you doesn't mean they actually are. The brain loves filling in blanks with worst-case scenarios, and most of us are terrible at fact-checking those mental headlines. We believe them. We react to them. We make decisions from them. And that's where the damage begins, not from what's actually happening, but from what we believe is happening. Most of the internal battles we fight aren't based on truth. They're based on interpretations, narratives shaped by fear, shame, insecurity, and old wounds we never really healed from. A voice in your head tells you that you're behind in life. Another one says you'll never find love, or that success is fake, or that you'll mess everything up if you try something new. But those voices didn't come from nowhere, They came from somewhere. A childhood memory, a moment of betrayal, a comment from someone who didn't see your worth. And if you never pause to question them, you'll start building your entire identity on illusions. It's not your fault that these thoughts exist. The mind is a relentless storyteller. It generates thousands of them every single day. Some are helpful, others harmful. But it is your responsibility to learn how to separate the noise from the truth. You wouldn't let a stranger walk into your house and start rearranging your furniture or insulting you in your own living room. But every day you let unverified thoughts rearrange your mood. Sabotage your confidence and distort your sense of self-worth. That's why mental discipline matters. That's why mindset is more than a buzzword. It's the foundation for everything you do. When you start treating your thoughts as data, not doctrine, everything shifts. You stop reacting to every anxious idea. You stop letting fear write the script. Instead of thinking, I'm not ready, you can say, that's a fear-based thought. Let's look at the facts. Instead of spiraling into, they're ignoring me because they hate me, you can ask, do I have real evidence? Or is this just a triggered emotion? This isn't about positive thinking. It's about accurate thinking. It's about learning to audit the voices in your head like a pilot checks his instruments constantly, carefully, without emotion clouding judgment. You have to become a warrior of awareness. Someone who doesn't just listen to the thoughts but interrogates them. Where did this come from? What is it trying to protect me from? Is it true or just loud? Because loud thoughts can be wrong. Persistent thoughts can be false. And if you live by every mental notification, you'll crash before you even take off. The cost of not questioning your thoughts is high. You'll sabotage relationships by assuming the worst. You'll shrink away from opportunities because your mind whispers that you're not enough. You'll stay stuck in places that suffocate your growth simply because your thoughts convinced you it's safer to stay than to leap. The mind can be your strongest ally or your worst enemy, depending on how you train it. And training it starts with remembering one thing. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. Doubt is not weakness. It's your mind asking for recalibration. Most people hear the word doubt and immediately associate it with failure, fear, or insecurity. They've been taught that confidence means being sure all the time, that hesitation is a flaw, and that questioning yourself is a sign you're not good enough. But this thinking is not only inaccurate, it's dangerous. Doubt, when understood properly, is not your enemy. It's a built-in guidance system, a signal that your internal compass needs adjustment. Well, not abandonment, it's your brain saying, slow down, look closer. Something needs attention. We live in a world that glorifies certainty. People are celebrated for being bold, decisive, and assertive. And while those traits are powerful, they can become reckless when they're not grounded in awareness. That's where doubt plays a critical role. It enters the scene not to paralyze you, but to sharpen you. When doubt surfaces, it's not always telling you to retreat. Sometimes it's telling you to refocus, to examine your strategy, revisit your intentions, or double check your surroundings before making your next move. Doubt often gets misunderstood because of how it feels. It's uncomfortable. It slows momentum. It makes you question what once felt certain. But discomfort is not danger. It's data. When a pilot sees turbulence on the radar, they don't see it as weakness. They see it as critical input. It helps them make smart choices, navigate safely, and stay on course. The same goes for doubt. It's feedback, not failure. It invites you to think deeper, prepare better, and lead smarter. Ignoring it completely can lead to arrogance. Worshipping it can lead to paralysis. But learning to interpret it with wisdom can lead to breakthroughs. Think about the moments in your life when doubt crept in. You were about to speak up in a room full of people. You were ready to take a leap toward a dream. You were walking into a conversation that mattered. And then that whisper surfaced. What if I mess this up? Am I really ready for this? Is this the right move? That voice wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to test you, to ask, do you know what you're doing? Have you prepared? Is this action aligned with your values? It was your inner command center asking for a systems check. Your doubt can also be a boundary protector. It alerts you when someone's energy feels off, when a decision is being made too quickly, or when your heart and your head are in conflict. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. It takes strength to pause and reevaluate. It takes self-respect to admit, I don't have all the answers yet. And it takes real leadership to say, let me think this through before I commit. We admire people who are quick on their feet, but the people who truly endure, the ones who win long term, are the ones who take the time to recalibrate before launching into action. There's also a deep difference between doubt that derails and doubt that refines you. Doubt that derails is based on fear with no evidence. It tells you you're not capable even when you are. It clings to old stories, past mistakes, and imagined threats. But doubt that refines is rooted in awareness. It asks useful questions. It looks at reality through a sharper lens. It doesn't tear you down. It tunes you up. The key is learning which kind of doubt is speaking and how to respond to it. You can train yourself to turn doubt into discipline. Start by noticing when it shows up not with shame, but with curiosity. You ask yourself what it's really pointing to. Is it a lack of preparation? Is it fear of judgment? Is it a mismatch between your values and your actions? Then take action, not from panic, but from purpose. Recalibration doesn't mean retreat. It means aligning your direction with your destination. Sometimes the most powerful step forward begins with a moment of pause. And that pause is usually born in doubt. Doubt doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're not ready. It doesn't mean you don't belong. It means you care enough to check your aim before you fire. It means you value what you're doing too much to rush into it blind. It means you're mentally alive, not mentally weak. Not everyone who smiles at you is on your side. One of the hardest lessons to learn in life is that appearances can be deceiving and intentions are rarely written on a person's face. The human instinct wants to believe in the best of people. We're wired for connection, for community, for trust. So, when someone smiles at us, listens to us, even compliments us, we often take it as a sign of alignment, as if kindness equals loyalty and warmth equals safety. But the truth is, some of the most dangerous people in your life won't come at you with a weapon. They'll come with a smile. A smile can be a mask. It can hide jealousy, manipulation, insecurity, and subtle control. People who don't want to see you rise won't always push you down directly. Sometimes they'll just keep you comfortable. They'll nod when you talk about your goals, but quietly mock you when you leave the room. They'll clap when you win, but only because it makes them look good. These are the kind of people who will hug you with one arm while holding a knife behind their back with the other. They don't always wish you harm, but they don't wish you power either. Their presence is a quiet restraint, not a support system. You have to understand that not everyone clapping is cheering for you. Some are just keeping rhythm while they wait for you to trip. They'll smile because it's polite. They'll show up because it's expected. They'll be there in your life, but never truly for your life. And if you're not aware, you'll confuse proximity with partnership. Just because someone is near you doesn't mean they're with you. Just because they've known you for years doesn't mean they respect the person you're becoming. Some people attach themselves to the version of you that stays small predictable, and controllable. The moment you start evolving, they start evaporating slowly, subtly, and sometimes with a smile still on their face. Insecure people often hide behind charm. They use smiles as tools of access. Ways to get close without being seen. They'll learn your language, your routines, your triggers, not to love you better, but to use your vulnerabilities as leverage. They'll position themselves as helpers, allies, advisors, but the moment your success starts to eclipse their comfort, they shift. You'll start hearing backhanded compliments. You'll notice they show up less when you're thriving. They won't say it outright, but you'll feel it in their energy, the withdrawal, the subtle resentment, the change in tone when you talk about what excites you. These people don't always hate you. They just can't handle you being fully free. Some smiles are designed to disarm you. They keep your guard down long enough for damage to be done. That's why awareness is so critical. Being kind doesn't mean naïve. Being open doesn't mean being unfiltered. You can still be warm without being wide open. You can still be trusting without being blind. The key is discernment. Learn to look past charm and charisma. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. What do they do when you're not in the room? How do they treat others who can't benefit them? How consistent is their support when you're not struggling? You'll notice that real allies don't just smile in your presence. They advocate for you in your absence. They celebrate your growth, even when it leaves them behind. They tell you the truth. Not just what's easy to hear. Their loyalty doesn't fluctuate based on your level of need. And most of all, their energy doesn't shift when your elevation begins. That's how you know you. Smiles are easy. Presence is cheap. But sustained support through all seasons, that's rare. You have to stop assuming that everyone who's friendly is safe. That everyone who remembers your birthday is loyal. That everyone who laughs with you isn't capable of laughing at you the moment you're vulnerable. Life demands that you sharpen your inner radar, that you trust but verify, that you stop mistaking politeness for protection. The people who smile the most aren't always the ones who will stand beside you when the pressure hits you. Some just want front row seats to your collapse, and they'll dress up their curiosity as care every single time. Real love sets boundaries, not traps. It's one of the most misunderstood truths in relationships, whether romantic, familial, or even in close friendships. We've been fed this idea that love should be unconditional in all directions. That it means saying yes, tolerating everything, giving endlessly, and never walking away. But that's not love. That's fear disguised as loyalty. Real love doesn't choke, control, or manipulate you. It doesn't corner you into guilt or suffocate you with obligation. It doesn't hand you a list of sacrifices while calling it devotion. Instead, it offers freedom with structure, space with safety, and presence with respect. Boundaries are the framework that love needs to thrive. They're not barriers, they're definitions. They show where you end and the other person begins. Without boundaries, love becomes blurred, confusing, and eventually corrosive. People start overreaching, project their insecurities onto you, expecting you to fix what they haven't addressed in themselves. And when you try to protect your peace, they'll say you've changed, become selfish, or detached. But in reality, setting boundaries is one of the most powerful expressions of self-respect, and real love will honor that. In toxic dynamics, love becomes a trap, a weaponized version of intimacy. It looks like obligation masked as affection. It sounds like, if you love me, you do this, or you owe me because I've been there for you. Traps are built through silent expectations, unspoken resentment, and conditional acceptance. They don't allow you to be your full self. They require you to shrink, compromise your values, or carry emotional weight that was never yours to hold. And if you push back, you're made to feel guilty. The trap tightens every time you choose your own well-being over someone else's manipulation. But real love, authentic love, is never afraid of boundaries. It doesn't flinch when you say no. It doesn't take offense when you express your needs. In fact, it feels safer because of those lines. It understands that trust isn't built on blind access, but on consistent respect. A partner, friend, or family member who truly loves you won't punish you for protecting your space. They'll see it as clarity, not conflict. Because to them, love is not about possession. It's about partnership. It's not about consuming your time, energy, or identity. It's about connecting with you without crossing lines you're not comfortable with. When someone truly loves you, they won't expect you to be their emotional sponge or their permanent solution. They'll work on themselves. They'll carry their own weight. They'll show up with accountability, not entitlement. you. When conflicts arise, as they always will, they'll listen instead of gaslight, communicate instead of control, and adjust instead of retaliate. Love without boundaries becomes enabling. It allows dysfunction to grow under the banner of compassion. But love with boundaries becomes empowering and creates a space where both people can breathe, evolve, and feel safe being honest. There's also a misconception that boundaries push people away. The truth is they reveal who was never meant to be that close in the first place. When you start setting boundaries, you'll lose some people, but you won't lose love. You'll lose attachment. You'll lose guilt. You'll lose relationships built on unhealthy patterns. But what you gain is real connection, real safety, and real clarity about who's actually for you. People who love you in a healthy way will never ask you to abandon yourself to prove your loyalty. They won't make you walk on eggshells. They won't punish you with silence or guilt when you make a choice they don't agree with. Instead, they'll lean in, try to understand, and even if they don't fully get it, they'll respect it. Because they're not there to possess you. They're there to support you. Love isn't proven by how much pain you can tolerate or how much of yourself you can sacrifice to keep someone else comfortable. It's proven in how much truth the relationship can hold without falling apart. It's seen in the mutual care that doesn't demand, but respects you. It's revealed in how both people feel safe being fully seen without having to compromise their identity to stay connected. Demons rarely show horns. They wear masks of concern. The most dangerous people in your life are rarely the ones who are loud, aggressive, or openly hostile. They don't come waving red flags or introducing themselves as villains. They don't announce their intentions or broadcast their jealousy. They come quietly. They come dressed in worry. They speak in soft tones. Sit close when you're down, and ask questions that sound like care. But if you pay close attention, not just to their words, but to their energy, timing, and pattern, you'll start to see it. Their concern isn't clean. Their closeness isn't innocent. What they call love is often layered with control, fear, and insecurity disguised as protection. People with dark intentions rarely act in obvious ways. They know that influence requires subtlety, and the best way to manipulate someone is to first earn their trust. So they come as helpers, as just looking out for you, as someone who knows what's best. They insert themselves into your choices, your mindset, and your emotional space in ways that seem thoughtful at first. They'll ask how you're doing. They'll offer advice. But if you look closely, that advice always pulls you back into dependence. It chips away at your confidence. It keeps you doubting yourself just enough that you keep coming to them for approval or permission. That's not love. That's control through compassion. The hardest part about identifying these people is that their words often sound right. They use your language. They reference your values. They mirror your pain. But over time, something feels off. You start questioning yourself more when you're around them. You start feeling smaller, more confused, less sure of your instincts. Their concern always seems to have a subtle edge, a disapproving look when you succeed, a guilt-laced compliment, or an exaggerated worry that you might change if you keep growing. This is how emotional sabotage hides in plain sight. It doesn't attack you. It doubts you. It doesn't threaten you. It nurtures fear in you. They'll disguise their need to control as love. They'll use phrases like, I just don't want you to get hurt, or you're not acting like yourself lately, when in reality, you're just starting to break free from roles they were comfortable with. They were okay when you needed them, when your self-worth was shaky, when your wings weren't ready. But now that you're standing taller, thinking independently, dreaming louder, they feel threatened. And instead of owning that insecurity, they mask it in concern. They play the role of the caring friend, the loving sibling, the wise elder. But their real motive isn't your safety, it's their comfort. They want you contained, not empowered. You have to learn how to separate love from control, concern from manipulation, and help from hidden harm. One of the most toxic dynamics you'll ever encounter is someone who pretends to care while slowly dismantling your confidence. They don't need to yell, insult, or sabotage you directly. All they have to do is plant doubt in your decisions. All they need is to ask just enough questions that make you hesitate. All they need is to repeatedly cast themselves as the one who knows better. While you shrink into a version of yourself that's constantly second-guessing everything you do, they call it love, but it feels like tension. They say they care, but you never feel fully free around them. What makes this kind of manipulation so difficult to confront is that it's wrapped in emotional currency. These people often have been there for you at some point. They know your wounds. They've held space for your tears. That history gives them leverage. It makes you feel obligated, tied to them in a way that's hard to break. You don't want to believe they could be harming you even subtly. You don't want to seem ungrateful. So you tolerate the slow erosion of your confidence. You chalking it up to they mean well, or maybe I'm just being sensitive, but deep down you feel it. You feel how their presence doesn't energize, it drains you. You feel how their questions don't empower, they confuse. You feel how their support isn't unconditional, it's transactional. Demons in your life don't always roar, they whisper, they sit close. They speak in concern and carry an invisible ledger. They help just enough to keep you tied, not free. And if you're not paying attention, you'll mistake their mask for care and their manipulation for love. You'll keep handing over your peace in exchange for approval. You'll keep explaining your growth, defending your choices, diluting your shine. And they'll keep smiling, saying they only want the best for you, as long as that best doesn't outgrow them.